Welcome to Plus Sports, the show where we give a different perspective on sports and look at the stories of athletes who not just amaze, but also inspire. I'm Patricia Bermudez-Hizon. Here we will give you not just the latest in the sporting world, but also the stories behind the athletes' struggles, victories, and motivation. We go beyond the stats as we celebrate the great athletic feats with you. The world's greatest athletes continue to compete at the highest levels of sport at the Tokyo Olympics, which is now on day 13. So here is our take on Tokyo. Today marks another historic day in Philippine sports with 4 of our athletes competing in Tokyo, and 2 of them were hoping to have a chance to fight for gold. Carlo Paalam will not yet be saying goodbye here in Tokyo as he reached the gold medal fight after a resounding victory over Japan's Ryomi Tanaka. Paalam defeated Tanaka via a unanimous decision to reach the final, which will be on Saturday, August 7 against Great Britain's Galalia Fai. As in his previous fights, Carlo Paalam was the aggressor from the opening bell and connected early and often and winning the opening round. His dominance continued in the second round as he continued to find opening and hit Tanaka. Sensing that he was behind on the scorecards, Tanaka came out aggressive in the final round, but Paalam held on and picked up the victory and assured himself of at least a silver medal. After Carlo Paalam's victory, Eumir Marcial tried to make it 2-2 for the Philippines, but unfortunately, he fell short against Ukraine's Oleksandr Kizhniak. In a 3-round slugfest that saw both fighters give everything they have, it was Kizhniak who narrowly defeated Marcial via split decision. Marcial won the first round on the 3 judges' scorecards and had a slight lead after 2 rounds. The Zamboanga native fought bravely despite suffering a cut on his head and inflicted punishment on his opponent throughout the fight. But the Ukrainian fighter, a former world champion and European champion, was able to win the 3rd round and the fight, with 3 judges giving the fight to Kizhniak and 2 giving the bout to Marcial. Despite the loss, the 25-year-old Marcial will still take home a bronze for the Philippines, the country's 3rd Olympic medal in boxing here in Tokyo. So we're so proud of you, Eumir. Thank you for giving it your all. Right now, we have invited journalist and veteran boxing commentator Dennis Principe to talk about these big bouts in Tokyo. Dennis, we're so happy to have you here. We'd love to know what your thoughts are about Carlo Paalam and Eumir's performances today.
You know, talking about this again, the Oro native boxer, he has really impressed me a lot. And I have to admit that he has exceeded my expectations about him. He's a young fighter. He's got a lot of talent, but I never thought that he would improve this much. And I think credit should go first and foremost to his Australian coach, Don Abnett, and of course, in general, the entire coaching staff, because Carlo Paalam has been very vocal about it. He's been very close and to his coaches, specifically Elmer Pamisa. And of course, we also should give credit to the ABAP hierarchy led by its president, Mr. Ricky Vargas.
And of course, Carlo Paalam, as you mentioned, has really done well today. Of course, on the other side, there's Eumir Marcial. What can you quickly say about that outcome that transpired after his bout?
It was a painful loss for Ymir. I really thought he did well in the first 2 rounds, although he was able to win both rounds. 3 of the 5 judges he was able to convince, but the problem was it was not a consistent scoring on the part of the judges. So by the 3rd round, I was really surprised that the Ukrainian fighter got the nod of all 5 judges. But it's really, it would be wrong to say that there was some sort of, you know, the judges had
Right.
something, bad against Eumir. No? It was
Mhm.
probably more of a mistake, maybe with 1 or 2 judges, but overall, I really thought that the judging in this Olympics is something that the sport should be proud of. Remember,
Yes.
The IBA has been suspended by the IOC, and it's the IOC who is running the affairs of the sport. So overall, we can really say that it's been pretty fair for the most part.
Oh, that's really great insight. Thanks so much for sharing that. I want to go back to Carlo. He's always started strong in his matches, and that continued today against Tanaka. Why do you think he was able to dominate the Japanese fighter? What were the things that were going for him?
It helped him a lot that he was able to defeat the reigning Olympic champion Zoirov the previous round. So it gave him a lot of confidence. Uh, he it gave him a lot of belief that he can go further and he can reach the gold medal bout. So I thought that it was an easy win for Carlo against the Japanese fighter, specifically because of that experience he had against the reigning world champion. And like what I said, he's the fighter that impressed me a lot and surprised me a lot.
Yes.
And if he can continue uh, this kind of performance, we could be seeing someone who can be an icon in terms of Olympic boxing because his style really is tailor fit for the Olympics. Someone who can dominate not only one Olympiad but several Olympiads. So I just hope that Carlo would maintain his focus because for sure after this, Pat, a lot of offers will come his way. Most of
Right.
them will come in the professional
Mhm.
ranks.
Well, Carlo will still be fighting for the gold medal against Great Britain's Galalia Faye before he even talks about or thinks about the future, the
Yeah,
other possibilities. But of course, we're all hoping that he will continue to fight for country. But what can you tell us about his opponent and his chances of winning the country's first gold medal in boxing?
I saw Yapai's fight against the Kazakhstan fighter, and you know, I don't want to be too confident, but I don't see any threat if that's how he's going to fight Carlo Paalam come the gold medal bout. I think it's going to be another easy fight, easy win for Carlo Paalam because uh, it seems that the British fighter has stretched himself
Mhm.
too long in this campaign. So and you can see there's a lot of energy coming out of Carlo Paalam. So with that being said, I think skill wise and energy wise, it's going to be a tough day for the British fighter and a very nice day, so to speak, for Carlo and us Filipinos.
The Philippines is already guaranteed three boxing medals in these Olympics. What does that say about where we are with the rest of the world in terms of our boxers? Now, how can we also build on this strong showing by our boxers at the Olympics?
It should have happened a long time ago, Pat, and you know that very well. For countless times, we've been, most of our boxers were victims of unfair judging. And it's perfect timing for us that we've got a good core of boxers right now, and the IOC stepping in and uh, weeding out the sport of boxing of the judges who ruined the sport of boxing. So I just hope that the IOC will continue this program of them cleansing the sport of bad judging. So if that will happen, I think it's going to be a good streak for us because, like what I've said, and you know this very well, Pat, we're one of the best countries when it comes to boxing, be it pro and amateurs. So we've had what 70, 80 world boxing champions in the professional ranks. So it's really something that surprises a lot of countries. When it comes to us not winning that Olympic gold. So I hope that Carlo Paalam will finally end that drought, and that IOC will continue their program of cleansing the sport. It's going to be a good streak for us as far as Olympic boxing is concerned.
Especially with the great program that ABAP has had and
Of
continues to
course,
have with the
for
support that
sure.
they're getting from private institutions and, of course, with the Philippine sporting community backing them up. I really appreciate your time, Dennis. Thank you so much for being with us. And we're looking forward for you and listening to you call more and more fights, not just in the Olympics, but, of course, other special and, of course, important sporting events. Thanks so much, Dennis.
My pleasure, Pat. Thank you very much.
We're so happy that we've been able to talk to Dennis Principe today, who's a very busy journalist. And at the same time, he's our veteran broadcaster who's been very busy with many things. But speaking of busy, our golfers have also been quite busy. Yuka Saso and Bianca Pagdanganan are currently competing in the second round of the women's individual play at the Kasumigaseki Country Club. After a slow start yesterday, Saso shot 3 under par in round 3 and to finish tied for 34th after the second round in a much better performance from yesterday. Pagdanganan, meanwhile, was tied for 7th yesterday after a promising start. After 2 rounds, Pagdanganan is tied for 25th after a 2 under par outing. With the round still underway, the other golfers still playing their rankings can still have its change, but it is nevertheless a strong round for both of our golfers. With the Olympics already in day 13 and winding down, let's take a look at our latest medal tally. With 2 countries in particular still locked up in a tight race at the top of that medal table. China remains in the lead with 32 gold medals and 71 total medals. The United States, meanwhile, is running second with 27 gold medals and 84 medals overall. Host country Japan, meanwhile, is still running third with 21 golds and 41 total medals. Sitting at 4th place is Australia with 17 gold medals and 38 total medals. And Great Britain has climbed all the way up to 5th spot with 15 gold medals and 49 total medals. The ROC is still there. We have Germany, New Zealand, Italy, and France all making up the top 10 countries in the medal table, while the Philippines still sits at the 46th spot with 1 gold, 1 silver, and now 1 bronze medal courtesy of Eumir Marcial. And that is all the time we've got for our take on Tokyo. The Tokyo Olympics is the site of the debut of several new sports, including surfing. And in surfing, it was Brazil's Italo Ferrerira who immediately established himself as the best in the sport, winning the gold medal at the shortboard event. And even in victory, Ferreira's faith took center stage as he was quick to credit his victory to God for not only giving him the talent in his sport, but also for protecting him and guiding him whenever he rides the dangerous waves whenever he competes. This is surfer Italo Ferrerira's incredible accomplishment and faith, which we will talk about on Athlete's Feet. Even before surfing made its Olympic debut, Ferreira has already established himself as one of the best in his sport. He won a Rookie of the Year award in 2015 from the World Surfing League and then followed it up with a World Surf League title in 2019 and 2 gold medals at the ISA World Surfing Games. But his crowning achievement is no doubt his Olympic medal, a victory which he credits to God. In an interview after his victory, he said that before he competed, he played and he prayed to God at 3 in the morning to give him a victory. He used the phrase, Diamen que viene el oro, to express his faith for God, which roughly means, say amen and the gold will come. And the gold did. And it did come for Ferreira. And he was all praises and thanks for God for helping him fulfill his dream. In such a dangerous sport, Ferreira was able to establish himself as the best in the world, but he has never forgotten the protection and guidance that God has given him in each and every single time he fulfills a dream and pulls off another amazing milestone. And that is surfer Italo Ferrerira's story here on Athlete's Feet. The Olympics are usually a way for the best athletes to introduce themselves on the global stage, especially with billions of people from all over the world watching them compete. We've seen athletes like Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, and Simone Biles all make a name for themselves at the Games. And now, here in Tokyo, there were some star making performances from athletes across different events, including one by hurdler and sprinter Sydney McLaughlin. At 21 years old, she has already risen to the top of her sport, and yet she always remains grounded and never forgets to credit God for her success. Today, we talk about Sydney McLaughlin's accomplishments and her faith here on Women in Sports. McLaughlin got her first Olympic medal yesterday after ruling the women's 400-meter hurdles event. She finished the event with a time of 51.46 seconds, which is 0.44 seconds better than her previous best, which she set at the Olympic trials. This means that the 21-year-old not only won an Olympic gold, but she also rewrote the record books in the process. Making her feat more special is that another American in Olympic champion and world champion Dalila Muhammad also finished with a silver medal. Muhammad and McLaughlin are the only women to ever finish the event in under 52 seconds. But while she was basking in the glow of victory, McLaughlin was quick to credit God for her victory. She said that her victory was just all about her faith and trusting the process, and that the victory was truly a gift from God. The young sprinter and hurdler, who is outspoken about her Christian faith on social media, previously thanked God back when she set the world record at the event during the U.S. Olympic trials. In these Olympics, McLaughlin wasn't just able to show her talents as one of the world's best in her sport. While the world witnessed her star-making performance, she was also able to show the world that her faith and gave credit to God for all that she has accomplished here in Tokyo. And that is Sydney McLaughlin right here on Women in Sports. Let's check out all that's been happening in men's basketball. There are a lot of hoops action happening right now with the semifinals in Olympic men's basketball being set while the NBA free agency continues as teams scramble to add new players in preparation for the next NBA season. Here's everything you need to know about basketball on Inbound. We are now in day 3 of NBA free agency, and there is still a frenzy of deals and transactions around the league. Easily the biggest has been the reports of all-star guard Kemba Walker joining the New York Knicks after his stint with the Boston Celtics. The Knicks are coming off a promising season and a playoff appearance, and the addition of Walker will give the team a more talented backcourt. With free agency still in full swing, there will be plenty more deals and transactions that will be made across the NBA in the coming days. And we are always going to be keeping an eye out for you guys and sharing with you what we know. But we move now to men's basketball semifinals, where the United States has started to look like contenders once again with a 97-78 victory over Australia in the semifinals. The victory gives the Americans a chance to defend their gold medal and continue their dominance in the sport. Kevin Durant led the Stars in stripes with 23 points and 9 rebounds, while Devin Booker added 20 points. The United States will be waiting for the result of the other semifinal match between Slovenia and France to determine which team they will face in the gold medal match. And that's all we have right now about the association on our NBA recap, and of course here on Inbound. We've mentioned that it is day 13 of the Tokyo Olympics, and yet there are still Filipino athletes competing in different sports and showcasing their talents. And really, it's been encouraging to see what our Filipino athletes are able to do in all these different sports. And we've been watching our golfers really duke it out despite the really difficult environment and the heat that they are facing. And of course, the boxers also, who are just really showing us what Filipinos can do at the highest level of competitive sport. We may have gotten that breakthrough gold medal, but our athletes are far from done winning in Tokyo. And again, we might be seeing another athlete step up on that platform to receive another gold medal. It's part of the prayer that we should all have. But for more sports stories here and abroad that not just inform but also inspire, catch Plus Sports every day on Plus Network. That's it for us here. I'm Patricia Bermudez Hizon. Thanks so much for watching.